Boy doesn't look back. I might upload this. Damn, look at my lips looking. It's fucking snowing out. It's a good day. Puffing on a spliff. I think that they say that everything's within you, right? Your peace and all that shit. Sure, you know. But I feel like when you get so into that spiritual stuff, you get to a point where it's like submitting to what? I think everything you need is actually out here. I think everything here, I feel like a lot of people just say that because they don't want to face what's in front of them, the real world. And a lot of people that do that, a lot of times, they usually smoke weed or they're doing something that allows them to be kind of sedated and chill here. But like, if you think about it, and if you've been there and you've gone into that void so many times, and you're chilling in that void, I was watching Elisha Long. The void doesn't look back. It doesn't look back, man. You can go into the void. I think the void is okay to go into because you can get into a deeper depth of yourself in the void. But staying in the void, man, it's like heavy. You know what I mean? You might think that good spot is literally going on your phone and listening to just music and just smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? But like what you're looking for in there, you can find out here. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why do we, like, most of the people I've met who like really are like, I'm gonna go into a cave and meditate and I'm just gonna go all into myself and this, that, and the third, usually are doing drugs or smoking or doing some sort of like thing that makes it way easier for them to get on this place. And I'm talking for myself too, actually. Like, it made it way easier for me to get in this place to be like, damn, I just want to get away from everybody and like live in the woods and just fucking be by myself. You know what I mean? But it's like, would I actually be that way if I was like sober? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, at the end of the day, I want to inspire people. I want to be there for my brother. I want to be there for my friends. You know what I'm saying? And somehow, some way, I can, like, I've convinced myself at times to be like, oh no, this, that, and third. Because the truth is, it's hard for me to handle it. It's hard for me to handle the energy that comes with it. A lot of those people that will be the same people be like, oh, my vibe, my vibe. The vibe, oh, the vibe, the vibe, the vibe. They can't handle the vibe. That's what I'm saying. They cannot handle the vibe. And it's just like, are you really strong? Are you really spiritually sound and strong if you can't go into an environment where motherfuckers are like, yeah, yeah, yo, what's up? Yeah, 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 nah, my dude. Yo, whoa, 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 your vibe, like, you don't have to change your vibe for them either. You can still be in your deep place. You don't have to get all wild and shit. But like, it's just like being like the vibe. You can't, like, there might be certain family members you have, like my brother or certain people, right? I don't even want to say my brother. Sorry, like like just people. It might be harder for you to be around them because you're so used to how this is making you vibe out and feel that you being around them just feels hard. It feels heavy. The energy feels heavy. You're just like, and you have to really push yourself. And like, this is why I actually started smoking like spliffs, weed and tobacco, because I felt like the tobacco helped me get at least like my mental back, because the weed lets you like flow. You're coming from such a flowy spot all the time when you smoke pot. And that flow is cool and all, but I noticed for myself is like, I want to really hang out with my mom. I want it really because it's like their vibe and the energy that they would project off to me, like, or how I would feel. It's like you can become too aware of these things and too sensitive to these things. And then you can start growing an ego, being like, oh yeah, I can feel their vibes, and oh, now I'm picking up their thoughts, and oh, I have telepathy, and they just don't understand. And then you really get deep into your character, like they just don't get in this, that, and the third. And it's just like, that's cool and all, but like, you can handle that. And you doing these things that you're doing, for me, like doing those things that I was like doing and stuff like that, is makes it a lot harder. So it's like I had to put tobacco up in this bitch because tobacco's helped me keep my mind at least there. You know what I mean? And at first, in the beginning, it was really hard, but it kind of makes you, when you're mixing it with the weed, it can still be hard because you want to flow. And I noticed when I started putting the tobacco in it, I almost felt the things deeper, but my mind would latch on to the things harder. So it's like with just weed, it's a hard one because with just weed, it was like I was flowy a lot and things would actually like come off me a lot more. You know what I mean? It was a lot easier for me to process shit. But at the same time, I had to go take that walk in the woods. I had to get that time to myself. I had to get my me time and my time for my energy and stuff like that to recuperate, to feel whole in myself. You know, if I was like stoned, I might not want to hang out with certain people because I'm not really trying to be around that energy. You know, and it's funny. I bumped into a friend the other day, and he stopped for a long time, and he was just like, you know, I when I smoke weed now, I have to be around other people, and I get that because when you're by yourself, you can get so into your mind and your own thoughts and that own vibe and feeling, and that vibe and feeling feels really good and really right. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like you're not able to like meet the world a lot harder. You know, I guarantee. You know, it's a lot harder for most people who like smoke weed to like meet the fucking world, to like fucking assert yourself. Usually, you're trying to avoid conflict. You're trying to avoid tension because the vibe that you feel is like, oh, I'm with God and I'm, you know, man, I feel so good. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, I don't, man, damn, I want to hang out with my brother, but when I hang out with my brother or hang out with my dad, it's just like I feel heavy and stuff like that or some shit like that. Not that I feel, I have though at times, and it's not them, you know, it's me because I'm over here trying to be in this like vibe, and that's the problem with these spiritual people. A lot of times is like, oh my vibe, but it's just like, bro, when like if like we're all going back together, man, it's just like we're not gonna be leaving anybody behind. So it's just like it's not about being. I think it is about being in your peace, but if you're coming at it from a place like doing this, or if you have like you need a structure, a schedule. If you don't have a structure, if you don't have anything going on, you don't have a job, you're not going to the gym or something, you know, some sort of structure. So like, you know, you're having space and time, like maybe you smoke in the morning, but your mind has a vision, it has something to focus on within this exterior reality that you got to do and take action. And that actually every time I did that, everything always felt better. You know, how I could decide whether smoking weed or spliffs was right or wrong for me. I could decide that. But every time though, I still notice even with that structure, you know, I'd always be waiting for like the end of the night to like smoke some weed. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get to smoke weed later, and you know, that's really what I was thinking about. Weed was like my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like the feeling that I would get from smoking weed would be like hanging out with a chick. But then you're not hanging out with a chick and you want to hang out with somebody, but then you're like it's super hard to want to hang out with anybody because you're like, well, I want the right girl, like the right vibe and all this type of stuff because you're so sensitive, bro. And it's just like, for me, my experience was just like I wasn't really enjoying myself fully because I just like there was a part of me that wasn't asserting myself as much. I was too in my feelings, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like that makes it a lot harder for you to be able to like mentally be able to get back and like jump back up and shift and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I had to go take my nature walks or some shit like that. And I guess genuinely I felt better like smoking weed, but still it's just like instead of coming home to smoke weed, if I wasn't smoking weed, I'd come home, I'd probably be chilling, I'd be able to enjoy playing video games more. I wouldn't feel bad if I'm chilling playing video games. I would probably end up just fucking working out, you know, just doing some push-ups and shit like that. But that's like what I realized though with that is then if you're around other people, like I was around my mom, I wasn't really hanging out with my mom because me and her weren't vibing like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the fucking problem. You know what I mean? You're not always gonna be vibing like that with somebody, but if you care about somebody, you're gonna have to like kind of sometimes make a little sacrifice and be like, hey, what's going on? But like if you're so worried about your energy molding with other people and you're picking up their energies and stuff because that can affect you and you're aware that like it can affect you, then you know what I'm saying? It might be the environment. Maybe that's not the place. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta run away though. That's what I'm saying though. That's what conflicts me. You know, and I don't want to call it running away. Maybe there's a season of like I gotta just go smoke my weed and go travel around and shit like that, be my own energy and do my own thing. You know, not be around energies that are trying to like tie me down, make it heavy. But at the same time, I do notice that I just like accomplish more and do more and feel more satisfied with my life when I'm not smoking. Like I'll come home and just work out, and I'll work out more, and I can set a goal. You know, I'd work out on weed, sure, but it'd be harder for me to like structure the goal. Like I'm gonna do 100 push-ups, I'm gonna do 100 squats. I just flow. It's too flowy. You know what I mean? I will work out. I can be productive, but it won't last long. You know what I'm saying? It's too hard for me to like directly just be like, okay, this, and then after that, it's like, you know, like I'm not like going to something like, okay, the day is over. Like that's how it felt. Like a lot of times smoking, be like, all right, you know, especially after work, and you feel like you accomplished that later. But that's what sucks. The day doesn't have to be over. you know, and that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm kind of putting my brain or whatever like on like and it feels like I'm still there, but it doesn't at the same time. And it's like I'm not all the way there, and it makes sense when I was living with my mom why she like did not like me smoking weed, which was annoying as fuck because she was smoking fucking weed. But you know, it takes two to tango in that set. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't really making an effort to hang out with me either. I mean, like I was trying to make an effort. She was like sometimes would be like, "Hey, do you want to go do this event or somewhere?" Like barely, you know. But we wouldn't really make an effort to hang out with each other. We would not really. Like I would ask here and there, and she wouldn't want to ask. You know what I'm saying? So she was looking at me, but I was also looking at her. The weed was both a reflection of both of us. Like, okay, this is kind of making us antisocial. It does because I couldn't even approach and be around my mom without her being like, I can't, like, she didn't like me being high for other reasons, but I could tell one of the reasons was because like the vibe, like some sort of energy I was putting off. She felt uncomfortable being around me, and that shit was fucking annoying. And it was more annoying that I was so sensitive to it and like bothered by it and like all of my feelings about it. You know what I'm saying? And these self help gurus and these spiritual fucking chicks and shit like that or whatever. I don't want to say chicks, but it's like more in this like kind of feeling based, like a feminine kind of, I'm not even saying feminine, but like a feminine kind of like in your emotions, where it's like, no, like, my, like a kind of like a kid, like, oh, no, my emotions, I will be like, da 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 da, and like being told that, no, you need to be heard, you need to be this, that, and the third. No, you do need to be heard. You do need to, if you feel like you need to be heard, you need to make yourself be heard. But if you're all up in your feelings, like, like you letting your feelings control you and being like, I can't handle this. I gotta go. I can't even handle this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like that and the third. Then like that to me is an issue. You know what I mean? That's an issue. Like if I can't handle that and do that, and I feel bad, and I'm letting my emotions make me feel bad, then that's a problem. That's a problem for both of us. And I noticed that. So she was a reflection for me, just as much as I was a reflection for her about like the weed. And I think it's a time and a place, and I think I had a lot of like trauma being in that area because my mom wanted me to be like a certain way, you know what I'm saying? And I was like too goofy for her. When I'm high, I'd be forgetful at times, really small shit. It's not actually serious shit when I really think about it. But when I was living with her, it felt more like serious shit because she was like hyper anal about how the fuck I was like kind of being. She wasn't overly hyper anal, but you know how moms are, bro. They're like, see a little thing there and stuff, they get really worried and shit. And then and I can try to be like, she needs to understand me here, there, and the third, but at the end of the day, I need to take care of my business. And if I'm getting too wrapped up in the feelings of like how my mom is feeling about me and shit like that, it's gonna distract me. You know what I mean? And that's where I feel like the problem with fucking weed is. You need to go to the gym, you need to work out, you need to do your shit, because you're gonna see your mom again, and you're gonna be in a better position to see your fucking mom, and you'll be able to handle actually talking to her, and even if she gets upset, you'll be able to actually be like, more mindful and not confused in your fucking head because of the fucking weed or the spliffs and shit, and you're doing what you need to be doing. You're around people who also like give you that foundation, you know what I'm saying? Because when I moved in with my moms, I was already around people where I was able to have conversations, debate with them, talk to them, and they weren't getting all into their feelings and shit like that, and she was definitely getting way more into her fucking feelings about certain things, like very upset that I was not agreeing with her about certain things. We had this whole conversation about neutering a dog, and I just like, nah, I don't like the idea of cutting off a dog's balls. Don't like it. And she's like, you humanizing dogs. And I'm like, I'm not humanizing shit. I see it as a living, breathing entity, being, and I can feel for that being, and I can feel that that being would not want to be fucking castrated. You know what I'm saying? And she kept trying to convince me, like, no, well, you got to do it because, they might go and fuck other dogs and all this shit. And I'm like, that makes sense. If the dog was like that and it really got that bad, then maybe I would consider it. But for the most part, I don't have that belief where I'd want to do that. And she could not wrap her mind around me having the belief that I wouldn't want to mutilate, cut off a dog's balls. You know what I'm saying? Because in her mind, she thought I was humanizing it. She couldn't wrap her mind around that fucking belief. That, so she kept trying to convince me, like trying to tell me, like, no, you're like, basically I'm wrong for having that belief. Like, that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to like basically manipulate me. And she was also trying to call me a narcissist and all this bullshit too. You know what I'm saying? And like all love at the end of the day, I love my mom. You know what I'm saying? None of us are perfect. I always say we have narcissistical traits. You know, when we get to, that's why I don't like watching a lot of this is a rant video now. That's why I don't like watching a lot of those psychology videos, because it's good to understand that and know that people are like that. But sometimes when you get too wrapped up in calling somebody a narcissist and all this type of shit, you start looking for it everywhere. You start like seeing like, oh, there's narcissist behavior. There's because what you're doing, you're coming from this jaded spot, this hurt place, because now now you can find a way to shame them. Now you can find a way to get them. Now you can find a way to bring them down and make them feel bad, because you're able to see psychologically. I understand this. I've done the same fucking thing. You know, it'd be like, oh, well, you're being like this because something happened from your childhood, this, that, and the third. And it's not how you say it, how you go about it. You know what I'm saying? But it is like people like, and that was kind of it. So you seem to like get really upset by my truth and all this type of shit. But I honestly believe that was because she's sitting in her weed way too much. You know what I'm saying? And when I sit in my weed way too much and I'm by myself way too much, I could have, my dad is perfect, bro. My dad is like the me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like how she might feel about me sometimes, that's might be how I'm with my dad. You know, but it's just like, she be like, that's fucking hilarious. But my dad is perfect for that, man. And like, he'll say a lot of stuff, and like if I'm all up in my weed, like he even told me, he's like, I remember I was having this conversation to him about God and my thoughts on God and all this type of shit, and like it was really good. I was able to assert and all this shit and just say what I was saying about it. And then the moment I smoked weed, all of a sudden I was like sensitive to the energy around me. I was sensitive to his anger. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whoa, this is intense. He's got a lot of intensity. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm like all feeling it. And then the way I'm talking is more from this, like, I'm like flowy, and I can't really like, because the way he talks and the way he speaks, he's way more like, yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, so you already know. Like, he's from the Bronx. He grew up in the Bronx. So it's just like I'm making him tired. I'm making him sleepy. And he's like, bro, man, like, I don't like how you are when you smoke weed. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, the way you are talking to me right now, you know what I mean? I couldn't meet him there anymore. And that's it goes back to that. I could not meet him there anymore, because I'm over here like, oh no, this is where it's at. So you got it all wrong, man. You're just not feeling it. I'm feeling it because I'm fucking stoned right now. Like, you know, like, I'm stoned right now. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's what pissed me off. It's like weed is like that drug. It's like a heroin or some shit. It's like it makes you feel like everything is okay, and you can definitely find peace in that place. And I think if you take a step back and if you have structure, and time to like figure shit out, because like Wiz Khalifa smokes weed all day, but he's like structured, you know what I mean? Like, he has his shit. But like the weed is just like, damn, I forgot what I was saying potentially, but it's just like, it can put you so into, make you feel like everything's good, but realistically, I'm sure that you've had years go by where, you know, you felt like everything was good, but there was another part of you that's like, damn, I really wanted to go out. I really wanted to go get fucking girls. I really wanted to go talk. I really wanted to go fucking do this and do that and have the energy to do that. And I really did want to have that debate with him. Man, I wanted to have that fucking debate with him. I wanted to have that fucking debate with him. I wanted to do that, but no, you get convinced that you don't when you smoke that shit. When you smoke that shit, you get convinced and you're like, oh yeah, there's nothing to really worry about. There's nothing to really care about. But there's another part of you that's like, fucking hey, I gotta fuck, yeah, man. You know, especially if you're smoking with tobacco as well. You know, so I'm coming from a place as well where it is mixed with tobacco and shit like that as well. I notice when I smoke weed and then with tobacco, like cigarettes can make you. That combination right there sucks. That like totally sedates you. Not only do you feel like everything's good, now you just have that like, yeah, man, yeah, dude. Like, it's like your defenses are down. It's like you don't have any like aggression. You have no aggression, and without aggression, you're not gonna be able to meet the world.